Welcome back to Part 4, How to Neutralize and Redirect the Power of Polarization. Let's jump right in, okay? The dilemmas that we talked about in the last video are very specific to our world today. So I've listed up some of them up here so that you can take a look at them and determine for yourself where you are in relationship to these and how polarized or not polarized are you. So go ahead and pause the video and take the time to decide how you relate to these polar pairs. Even if you are interested in being able to include the opposite and be more inclusive, try and be as honest with yourself as you can with your internal response. This will help you get the most out of this. So go ahead and pause the video and then come back whenever you feel like you've done that with the list and you have a better sense of where you are in relationship to these current day dilemmas for most people, especially those interested in conscious living and conscious leadership. So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and engage in that. Okay, great. So that probably gives you a bit of a clearer understanding of where you are in relationship to what you would like to be doing and what your unconscious mind might be keeping you from doing. The unconscious mind is not so happy to include the polar opposite that is not the one that you want. So what I want to do here in the next couple of slides is articulate for you the 4 essential understandings of practical wisdom. The first one is, when you set up what you like against what you dislike, you automatically create discord and dis-ease in the mind. That is an automatic reaction. The mind's discord then generates emotional turmoil. So it follows the mental action to set up what you like against what you dislike creates the discord in the mind. The mind's discord creates emotional turmoil. The emotional turmoil then throws you off balance, causing you to lose your center, your calm, your presence. The result is usually unconscious polarization, as we've been talking about, choosing one experience over its opposite as the better choice and falling into the unconscious strategy of attempting to get rid of the one you don't like so the one that you do like lives on 100% of the time. The art of leading from the eye of the storm grants you the capacity to trust that it's possible to attain what looks impossible here, to actually learn to be inclusive of your own polar opposites struggles that go on inside of you. Whether it's to be liberal or conservative, whether it's to be expansive or shrink the way you look at things, the goal here is to retrain your brain from the either-or perspective to the more expansive worldview that allows you to include both opposites as having strengths and weaknesses, and together operate as one unified whole. When you can do that, you will have the freedom to remain undisturbed by the continual flow between opposites. And there's that infinity loop again, which we use a great deal to help retrain your unconscious mind and create that new neural pathway in your brain. So here is once again the 6 steps, which I believe I shared with you in the first video. And following these 6 steps frees you to neutralize and redirect the energy behind your polarization. And this will help you to stay centered in the presence of your emotional turmoil or someone else's. It will help you reconnect with the grace that comes with being centered, calm, and present, even when you are under fire from your own emotional reactivity or someone else's. and it will free you to remain firm in your vision for the possibility of a better future, no matter how much chaos, uncertainty, or deep polarization and divides are unfolding around you. So before we jump into the 6 steps just a little bit more, I want to remind you that this work is based on mystic psychology and neuro-linguistic programming. I made a model of the mystic's psychology and compared it to the ordinary psychology, and it differed in 2 major ways. And you're going to recognize here the 2 undeniable facts. The first was impermanence. For the mystic, in their psychology, impermanence was an advisor and is always invited to be present when decisions are being made. You know that's not the way we ordinarily do it. The second was a different way of perceiving opposites. For in mystic psychology, they are naturally seen as one unified and complementary whole, rather than contradictory and antagonistic. So Center 24/7 is based on these 2 major ways in which mystic psychology and ordinary psychology differ. And with the help of NLP, we want to take that mystic psychology perspectives on these 2 undeniable facts and allow your ordinary psychology to embrace them and integrate them into your way of living and moving through your daily lives. Now, why mystic psychology? Well, it's because it aligns more closely to the actual territory of life. According to what you've learned in this mini course, you cannot get rid of any polar opposite that you don't like. You cannot do it. And normal, ordinary psychology is pretty much geared on trying to make that happen. Mystic psychology gives us a map that aligns to the territory. In other words, many times we're trying to operate in the Sahara with a map of the Himalayas. It does not work. It's that simple. So what we're going to do here is use mystic psychology as a map because it reveals the how to surf the ups and downs of the daily dilemmas and stay balanced, calm, happy, and peaceful. It shows us how to do that, and that is what Center 24/7 is all about. My favorite quote from Sri Nisargadatta, which is who was an Indian guru, is no longer around. He says, "Love tells me I'm everything. Wisdom tells me I'm nothing. Between these 2, my life flows." One of my favorite mystic quotes. So every human being is naturally pulled towards the mysterious. There is some belief that is required for us to discover our purpose, our meaning, our happiness, and our conscious capacity to live with more awareness and presence to the moment. So what we're looking at in Center 24/7, the essentials, are practical wisdom in your hand and wired into your brain's neurophysiology. That's what we want to do here. Okay, so here we go. Presto, step 1. You will learn to see the problem clearly, and seeing it clearly will reveal that polar opposites are at play. And this immediate recognition will cause you to shift the way you're going to approach it. Step 2. This shift in perception allows you to realize that the problem is not actually a problem to solve, but rather a dilemma to manage. And how do you manage it? By viewing through your new transformational angle of vision called Center 24/7 and Practical Wisdom. As you do that, step 3 emerges, and what happens here is that you find your emotions are no longer in the lead because you have decreased their influence by expanding your conscious awareness of impermanence and the polar opposites that are in constant motion within that flow of change. The hidden pattern is completely in your conscious awareness now. That leads you then to step 4, where because of the decrease in emotional reactivity, you have the freedom to move from reaction to reflection. And in step 4, you're given 3 powerful perspectives from mystic psychology that allow you to reflect and make many shifts in the way you're relating to that particular polar pair or dilemma. That takes you then into step 5, where because you've had the time to reflect, those burdens transform into your source of practical wisdom. And this grants you the guidance and the direction for the most effective conscious action for you to take in the presence of that dilemma. That allows you to move into step 6, where you are granted the freedom to remain calm while taking the action you have discovered is the best for you, while staying balanced and centered in your equanimity, despite the ongoing presence, but at a much less intense level, of emotional turmoil. So those, my friends, are the 6 steps. Are you ready to make a quantum leap in your personal consciousness, your presence, and your conscious leadership? Are you ready to help lead your world and the world at large beyond the detrimental effects of polarization, so needed, so wanted by so many people, but without any idea about how to manage polarization? So what to do next? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Go to www.centered-247discoverysession.com and schedule your 60-minute complimentary discovery session with me. What we'll do in that session is talk about what your current challenge is in your quest for more conscious living and conscious leadership. What is it you need to meet that challenge? And what will things look like in your journey once you have conquered that challenge and are ready to embrace it and absorb it into the essence of who you are? So that will be the intent of that discussion that we have. So please go to centered24-7discoverysession.com. So let me also say a reminder to you. If you have gotten enough out of this mini course, fabulous. Go your way, enjoy, use it as best you can. It is wonderful, and I wish you very well. If you feel you've learned a lot, but you want more, but you don't want to engage in a training at this time, buy the book Unflappable, 6 Steps to Staying Happy, Centered, and Peaceful, No Matter What. It's available on Amazon because it has in it all of these steps plus the details that will help you go through each one more easily, including those 3 powerful mystic perspectives. Now, if that is not enough and you really want to have an in-depth training with me there to guide you through each step and to answer your questions live and in person, then what you can do is go to, as your next step, centered247.com. Well, www.centered247.com, and explore the course details. Discover when the next starting date is, and then schedule your complimentary discovery conversation with me. Again, in order for you to do that, all you have to do is go to centered24-7discoverysession.com. I truly appreciate your allowing me into your life for this hour of our time together. I hope it has been of value to you. I look forward to meeting you and talking with you in person during this discovery conversation. I hope you take me up on the offer. I would love to meet you and discover where you are in your journey of conscious living or conscious leadership. Again, thank you for your time and energy, and I hope this has been of value to you and spurs you on to your next step in discovering the more expanded sense of who you are at your highest and deepest, most loving sense of self. Okay, it has been my pleasure to spend this time with you. I wish you well and much love.